Alright, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 6. That is right, week number 6 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jason K. Austin, and what we are going to do this week is I'm not actually going to show a database this week because there are a lot of resources related to this whole LibGuide thing, and this is going to be a check-in video that is basically about the LibGuide assignment. So that is what we are going to be focused on, but first, of course, we're going to do a state of the course update. So let's get into that state of the course update now, and then I am going to tell you a little bit about the LibGuide assignment that you all have coming up. It's going to be due a week from this coming Sunday, and also, well, yeah, that's pretty much going to be what we talk about. But you're going to see a whole lot of resources in this course announcement and a whole lot of other things in this course announcement. And there is a reason for that. So I'm going to explain that in this check-in video. So if you are in a situation where you're nervous about the LibGuide assignment or you want some clarification, whatever the case may be, this is a good check-in video for you to watch. So without further ado, let's get into that state of the course update, and then we will head into talking about LibGuide from there. Pause. Alright, so first things first, I know that there has been a lot of work and y'all have been pretty stressed this summer with this course because, again, this course is a summer school course for a required class. So basically, you have 2 weeks of work every single week, but we are in week 6. That means we are in the equivalent of week 12 and week 13 as well. And so, with that said, the good thing about that is that you are pretty much done with the class almost already. You only have 3 more assignments to turn in, and that is going to be your LibGuide, your semester-long project, and your discussion board prompt number 7. So, both of these, the LibGuide and the final discussion board prompt, will be due again a week from this coming Sunday, and then the semester-long project is going to be due on July 31st, which is going to be the Friday after the Sunday that the LibGuide and the final discussion board prompt are due. So you have already done most of the work for the class, and so definitely I hope nobody else is going to drop the class because, again, I told you at the beginning, things are going to be pretty intense, but you're going to do through it fast, and you certainly have. As far as I see, everybody has turned in the Wikipedia edit assignment on time, so I will be trying to catch up and get those Wikipedia edit assignments back to you, as well as getting caught up on the discussion boards during the next week and a half, hopefully. But again, I've got a lot of things on my plate, just like y'all do, so your patience is appreciated, but I'm getting through things as quickly as I can. Okay? Now, I do want to say overall, the virtual reference practice papers were pretty good. So I have a lot of trust and a lot of belief in this group of students that I had this semester, this summer semester, in this reference class. I think that y'all have a bright future ahead of you. You seem to be following directions well and turning in quality work. Keep it up, and if you keep it up, if I'm one of the first classes that you've had in this program, I am going to say so far you look pretty good as a whole, and so I do think that y'all are going to be very successful throughout the course of the program. Just continue to work as hard as you have worked in this course, and you will be fine. Alright, so that's it for the state of the course update. Let's go ahead and get into talking about these LibGuides. So the students a lot of times actually found the LibGuide to be the most enjoyable assignment that they have in this class because they get an opportunity to take a subject that they like. And first of all, by the way, yes, I do want you to concentrate on a subject that you like, something that you enjoy. If you are unsure as to whether or not the subject that you picked fits the assignment and can produce a good LibGuide, go ahead and reach out to me by email or by Canvas message, and I will give you some feedback. I will either say that it is just right, or it's too broad, or it's too narrow. And if it's too broad or too narrow, then I will help you work out something that will be a little bit more fitting. But another thing that I want y'all to bear in mind when it comes to doing this LibGuide assignment is that the LibGuide is going to be something that you will have access to even beyond this class. So this is actually something that you're going to be able to show future employers. What I will encourage you to do is keep your link. When you create your LibGuide, it will generate a URL. I would suggest that y'all save that URL somewhere, and you can include your LibGuide within your application materials when you are applying for jobs, either during the program or even after the program. These LibGuides Uh, as far as I know, they don't ever get deleted. I've still got some libguides from my students that were created back in 2018 and 2019, which is 2018 is about 8 years ago. So, yes, so I will be assuming that y'all are going to be hitting the job market within 8 years because you do have to finish the program within 8 years. So having said that, yes, go ahead and save, like I said, save those URLs. And these can be something that you, when you are applying for jobs, you will have proof that you can create a LibGuide because you will have a LibGuide that you created in this class and you will be able to send that link to a potential employer. All right, now if you're looking for some examples of some good LibGuides that are out there, what you can do is, and actually this is going to be something that you're going to need to do anyway in order to really get the most out of this assignment. This is kind of a discovery assignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to go out there and you're going to want to Google around and browse around and find different examples of LibGuides, find things that you like, find things that you don't like. You can also Google best practices within LibGuides and that sort of thing, but you really need to do some searching. And look at some examples, and then also you can read blog posts about LibGuides or Reddit posts about LibGuides, all sorts of things like that. But go out and just do some searching, find out what's out there, and then try to the features that you see that you like and that sort of thing, try to incorporate those in your LibGuide as much as possible. And you can do that. There are a lot of tutorials about LibGuides. You can go to the SpringShare website and find tutorials there. You can also go to the, you can go on YouTube and some other video sites and you'll find different YouTube tutorials there as well. So again, this is a discovery process. Maybe think about it as a treasure hunt to make it more fun. But yes, go out there and just look and see some of the best examples of LibGuides, some of the best practices within LibGuides that you can find, and go ahead and incorporate those. But if you're unsure, and I did show this in that first check-in video that I made, but if you're unsure of what a LibGuide is, you can, again, just Google around. I want to show you a LibGuide that I won't say that it's one of my favorites, but I will say it's one that incorporates a lot of different elements. So this is a LibGuide from the University of Washington related to art. And basically, yeah, what a LibGuide is it's something, we call it a pathfinder, but it's something that allows you to organize sources into different tabs and then different boxes within tabs. And what you want to do is you want to find some logical way to organize your sources. So I don't necessarily think it's always the best idea, but a lot of times the way LibGuides are arranged, you will see the tabs will be labeled as source type, and that's what's going on here. So you've got articles, books, encyclopedias, journals, so different source types. And then once you have the tabs, within each tab you will have various boxes, and the boxes further organize the sources that you have. So we are in the home tab here, but let's say we went to the article tab. So you can go to the article tab and then you'll see there's various boxes within the article tab. And so we have boxes labeled for interdisciplinary databases, history databases, applied arts databases, and then you'll find the different sources within there, okay? And so yeah, this is a way to organize them and find them logically, but again, you don't necessarily have to organize by source type. You will see that a lot in a lot of these examples, but my students in the past have gotten very creative and done a really good job on the LibGuide by being very creative, because again, it is not always the case that organizing by source type is the best. So hold on for one moment. Okay, so I did want to find a LibGuide that did not organize the sources by source type, so within the tabs at least, so that you could see what I meant when I said that. So with this LibGuide from the American Library Association dealing with digital collections, instead of organizing the tabs by source type, you have art, civics, so you have basically subjects here: art, civics, folk life, history, literature, maps, military experience, blah, blah, blah. Let's go into civics, and then if you go into civics again, you'll see that there are different boxes here, and the different boxes, well, this isn't necessarily the best example of that. Well, I'll focus on this example right here. So with related collections, again, what you'll have is, once you get into a tab, and you'll have boxes that are labeled, and what you want to do is you want to organize similar and like sources in a logical way within a box. So within related collections, they actually have subtabs within the box. So you have American Folklore Center, and then you have different resources put into that subtab. And then if you move this here, you have quotes and quote making in America, and then you have some other resources that are organized within that source tab. So get creative. Try to think of what you think is the most, like put yourself in the shoes of a user and try to think about what you think would be the best way of organizing sources so that your patrons or your users are able to find the sources that they want or that they need as easily and conveniently as possible. Okay, so try to put yourselves in their shoes and then think to yourself, okay, now I've got this topic. Let's say that your topic is, I don't know, St. Louis. And let's say that you were organizing your, let's say that your tabs are, schools in St. Louis, and then government in St. Louis, parks and recreation in St. Louis, tourist attractions in St. Louis, and so on. And then let's say that within tourist attractions, you've got things related to the arts, and then you've got like historic restaurants and museums and ballparks and things of that nature. So if you organize that way, let's say that you were trying to build this resource and you were like, I bet that there are probably people who might see this LibGuide and they're trying to find things related to, I don't know, the Budweiser Museum or whatever that is that they have out in St. Louis, some beer museum out there. And let's say that you did that. What you would do is you would be like, yeah, I want them to have this resource, and that should be within the tab of tourist attractions, and then I would put it in a box, and that box, maybe if it's a museum, maybe I can have a box for museums, and then I can have that museum, but then I can have any other types of St. Louis museums that there are in that box as well, and that's how I organize it, okay? So that's basically what you want to do, and again, be creative and try to have fun with it, all right? Now, again, I know that this assignment is going to be pretty intense. Now, first of all, I do want you all to know that I actually don't grade these as harshly during the summer as I do in the spring and the fall because y'all don't have as much time. In the spring and fall, students get about a month, give or take, and y'all have about 2 weeks. So, given that y'all have less time, I'm not going to be, again, grading quite as harshly, but I still want y'all to be aware of what's in the rubric. So be aware of what's in the rubric, and yes, this is a big rubric, but be aware of what's in there and try to meet all rubric problems, including, and with one exception, I have to deduct points from at least one person every single semester. There was one semester where all the students kept everything within that roughly 3-minute frame for the video tutorial, but almost every semester I have somebody who just ignores this and gives me like a 4, 5, 6. I once even had a 12-minute video. Don't do that, okay? When you make your video tutorial, and you'll see in the prompt, so read the prompt over thoroughly as well, and you will see that in the prompt, you do have to make a video tutorial. The video tutorial, I know that it says in the rubric that it needs to be 3 minutes long or less. Now, I do give a grace period, so if you are around, let's say, 3 minutes and 15 seconds, I'm still not going to be so picky that I'm going to count off for that. But once you get past like that 3:30 and up, that's when you're likely to lose points, okay? And certainly don't don't have the video embedded it's like 4 minutes or 5 minutes or 6 minutes long. Just don't do that, okay? But yes, know what is in the prompt, know what is in the rubric, and follow directions accordingly. So one thing that I just want y'all to be aware that y'all have to do, y'all have to be, not just within this program, but within your careers as librarians, you do have to be able to follow directions. And so this is one of the things I'm looking for y'all to do is know what's in the rubric, look at what's in the rubric, know what's in the prompt, look what's in the prompt, and follow directions accordingly, okay? And if you are able to follow directions, you will be just fine on this assignment, and you will be just fine in your librarianship career. Now, I will say, you are welcome to come to me when you need a little bit of additional guidance, just like how I said that you can come to me if you aren't sure if your topic is appropriate, you can come to me for other reasons as well. So, for instance, and this is something that a lot of people actually do come to me for. In this particular rubric prong right here, you are charged with getting one print or electronic dictionary, one print or electronic encyclopedia, also a directory, an index, and or full text database, a geographic resource, a biographical resource, and a government resource. So if you've got a topic and you're not sure what your government resource for that is going to be, go ahead and reach out to me and be like, hey, Dr. J, it's like, for instance, I remember having a student who was doing Edgar Allan Poe as their topic, and she reached out to me and she was just like, I don't know what a government source for Edgar Allan Poe is going to be. And when she reached out to me, I worked with her and found something that I told her would be acceptable, and she was able to include that, and she was able to meet the rubric prong. So if you're getting caught up in finding 15 sources, or you're getting caught up in finding a biographical source or a government source or whatever the case may be, just reach out. I don't want y'all to be shy about reaching out to me, okay? And I would also say that within your discovery process, as you are Googling around to find best practices and probably want to look for accessibility, making LibGuides accessible and that sort of thing, making them design them the best for those who have disabilities and that sort of thing. There is one thing that I have to note, and that is going to be that there are some expectations that are unfortunately kind of unstated with this assignment, but the thing about that is a lot of those things are common sense. So where this is going to come into play is that is going to be here in this rubric prong right here. The LibGuide is professional in appearance and well organized. Okay, so when you're dealing with that part of the rubric prong, this is where you can potentially lose points if you do things like when I say there's an unstated expectation. For instance, one expectation that I have that isn't stated, but it's kind of common sense, is don't design your LibGuide in ways that make it too hard to read. Now, you can get creative, you can use the color schemes and everything, but for instance, don't put a gold text with a yellow background. Okay, that's very hard to read. All right, and so if you were to do something like that, you would probably be docked professional appearance points. Okay, so just be mindful of that, and again, just do things that you know would be the things that you would do to have something that can be navigated, that can be read, etc., etc. Okay, and so basically those unstated expectations, violating the unstated expectations would be violating things that would otherwise, if you hadn't violated these things, your LibGuide would be easy to navigate, easy to read, etc., etc. And when you do violate these things, then your LibGuide becomes harder to navigate and harder to read or find sources in, that sort of thing. Okay. Now, also, having said the things I just said, I do want you to bear in mind that it is okay to tailor your LibGuide to what you think is your target audience. So, for instance, yes, if you were making a LibGuide that you think your target audience would be top MIT scholars or the top scholars at some med school or something like that, then you probably do want to avoid putting in a bunch of like cartoonish graphics and things like that. But if you think that your target audience is going to be first graders and second graders and third graders, then maybe, yeah, you want to put in some, you might want to put in maybe some animation and some fun graphics and that sort of thing. That's perfectly fine. Keep your audience in mind. So yeah, don't forget your audience, kind of be aware of who your audience is likely to be. And it might be that your audience is just pretty much anybody of all ages, backgrounds, and so forth. That could certainly be the case with some topics, such as, like, let's say a particular food. Let's say you did pizza. Everybody likes pizza. You can have kids and adults and people of all ethnic backgrounds and ages and people from all sorts of regions throughout the country and that sort of thing. And so something like that, you can again just kind of, if it's something that's not tailored to a particular demographic, then certainly, again, be mindful of what you think would be inviting to people of all types. Alright, so with all that said, a few other quick points that I'm going to make over the next 10 minutes. First of all, again, you're going to see a bunch of other resources within this announcement, and that does include a check-in video from a previous semester. The reason that you're seeing all that, and in particular that previous check-in video, is because there were So prior to when I made that particular check-in video, which I think was 5 years ago now in 2021, prior to making that check-in video, there were just a lot of students who were just flustered and just scared, and they were just out of their element when it came time to do the LibGuide assignment, and they were just I don't know, they were more nervous than I wanted them to be because I don't want this class to stress y'all out, right? And then what happened, and so there were a lot of questions and a lot of anxiety, and it was just coming into my email account just constantly. And then I made that particular check-in video in 2021, and what happened was students eased up. And from there, it was in that particular semester where I had the fewest questions coming at me from students that I ever had. And I thought, this must have been this check-in video. It must have soothed their nerves a little bit. And so since then, I have included that particular check-in video in the course announcement with a bunch of other resources and a bunch of other side information. And since then, the students have had fewer questions and they've been less nervous about the assignment. So that is why you're seeing that old check-in video included in this announcement, and that's why you're going to see all these other bullet points and things like that included in this announcement. It's because, again, I am actually trying to look out for y'all, and when I have included all that information in the announcements and the students have had the time to go through it, look at that previous check-in video, look at the Spring Share support stuff that I include, and look at the bullet points within that announcement, they have been a lot less nervous about the assignment. And so I want the same for y'all as well. Now, one other thing that I want to say is this is a learning process, and I'm not picky about how y'all learn, okay? So, yes, the reason I say that is because I wanted to be clear that it would not be cheating, and this might surprise some of y'all, but it would not be cheating if you actually have somebody walk you through, like if you have a coworker, if you work in a library and you have a coworker that's really good at doing LibGuides, it would not be cheating for you to have that coworker sit beside you while you're creating the LibGuide yourself, sit beside you and walk you through the process of creating the LibGuide. So you do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. If you do that, that again is not considered cheating. I am okay with that because really a lot of your learning within libraries is going to be learning by either shadowing another librarian or being at the computer and having a senior librarian walk you through a database or walk you through designing something or walking you through a software tool or that sort of thing. And I don't really see there being a big difference between doing that, between having a coworker walk you through the process or doing what you would do otherwise in solo learning, which is looking at a tutorial from a pro, okay, and then replicating what you see somebody doing in the tutorial. All right. So, and if your coworker, like if you say to your coworker that it's okay, that my professor said it was okay for me to have you walk me through the process and show me how to do that. If your coworker says that sounds like cheating, just show them this video and you'll be fine. Okay, so yeah, know that that is not against the rules. You're welcome to do that. Now, you cannot have them create the LibGuide for you. That, if I find out you did that, then you will get an F. Also, you will fail if you duplicate somebody's LibGuide, because there is a way to copy someone else's LibGuide and then put it under your own account. If you do something like that, and I find out, you will also get an F for that, okay? But yeah, having somebody walk you through the process, not a big deal. In fact, I encourage it if you have those resources available to you, because what you're doing in this assignment is using what is available to you. However, if you prefer to learn it alone, go ahead and learn it alone. All right, some other quick notes to be aware of. I do also want y'all to know that with this LibGuide assignment, you'll see that it has more points attached to it than any other assignment in the course. It's got 25 points assigned to it. I'm going to go down in the, well, actually, maybe I am going up. There we go. 25 points possible. One thing that I want y'all to know when it comes to this is, again, I don't want y'all to be worried about, here's the thing. Very rarely does anybody get a perfect 25 out of 25 on this assignment. It rarely ever happens because I am kind of, the way the LibGuide has to be graded, basically what I have to do, or evaluated, basically what I have to do is hold you to something that seems almost like a professional standard. And then even though you're at the student level, and then what I do is when I notice something that you did that comes below, that falls below the professional standard that I would have for you, then I deduct points that way, but then I also give you notes in the feedback and grading feedback, and then you're like, oh, okay, so I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. And if I wanted this to be more of a professional level of guide, then I should do this instead. And the thing with that is, because none of y'all are, well, I shouldn't say none of y'all are professionals. Some of you actually might have professional rank right now and everything, but if you're not a pro at doing lip guides, you're not necessarily going to do lip guides at a professional level. However, that's where the grace comes in. So the thing is, you can still, most students actually don't get below a 22 out of 25 out of this, and I'll explain after we turn the lib guide in. I'll explain exactly how that works. There's a bit of a safeguard built into the rubric, okay? But before you get to that point, all I'm going to say is, even though it's rare for anyone to get a perfect grade, and don't be a perfectionist, don't be somebody who's expecting a perfect grade, be somebody who is willing to get a 24 or a 23 or a 22, but then also get some helpful feedback. But the way that the course is structured, you can still lose, if you've been doing well in your other assignments, you can still lose 2 or 3 points on this assignment and still get an A in the class. Okay, so that's what I want y'all to keep in mind. Is, again, you can lose a few points on this assignment and still get an A in this class, because I'm actually expecting you to lose a few points on this assignment. But if you get a 25 out of 25, and it's certainly doable, there are students every semester who do end up getting a 25 out of 25, and if you get that 25 out of 25, great. Pat yourself on the back. The next little bullet point that I have for you is to please do not password protect your LibGuide until after you get a grade. This is something that tends to happen every semester. I just have students who they password protect it for some reason, even before they've actually been assigned a grade, and then that really slows down my grading. So especially in the summer months, we don't want to slow down my grading. So go ahead and don't password protect it. The quickest thing to do, and I'll show you this, once you actually finish the LibGuide, you will see the options where you can generate a URL for the LibGuide, and the fastest way to, as far as if you want your grades faster or as fast as possible, as quickly as possible, then the best thing to do is to either come to text or to URL, and I'm just going to paste this one in. But yeah, you can, let's see. Alright, so what you can do is you can come to text or you can come to URL. Let's move me again. And you can, if you enter the URL to your LibGuide here, then that is the quickest way for me to grade it, because then I can just go ahead and access it within Canvas. And there you go, and I would be able to just click the link, be taken to your LibGuide from there, and grade it from there. So yes, that's what I'm gonna, you're not required to do it that way, but that is the way I'm gonna ask you to do it in order for me to grade these as quickly as possible. But yes, if you password protect something, it is going to slow you down tremendously, so please don't do that, alright? Alright, yeah, and I think that's pretty much everything. Again, just try to have fun with this. I know y'all don't have a lot of time. You only have about a week and a half left, but yes, try to have fun with it, okay? And again, just know I understand you don't have a month the way the spring and the fall classes have a month. So I'm not expecting you to do the work, the level of work that somebody would do if they had a full month. You had 2 weeks. So yes, do the best that you can within this 2 weeks that you have, and know that I am going to grade a little bit more leniently. But outside of that, yeah, just try to have fun, do the best that you can, and let this be a learning experience for you. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. All right, I am Dr. Jace, and try to do this LibGuide at a pretty speedy pace. Jace pace, I've got my rhyme, and I can go about my day. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next week.